Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started here since, we have a 2-hour time frame here for this workshop, and I'm sure we'll have some late people coming in. We always do. I'm Professor Janovic. Welcome to our workshop here on starting a social media business. First of all, may the 4th be with you. Do we have any Star Wars fans out there? I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. Excuse to wear a t-shirt and not a dress shirt, right? Also, disclaimer, I do have 2 large, big dogs. They are next to me. They are being super good right now, but if the Amazon guy comes over or if the neighbor starts to decide to do some landscaping, you will hear them bark. So fingers crossed, everything worked out last workshop, so hopefully they stay quiet this time. I'm going to share my screen with you. Daria is going to be my assistant today, and she will be taking care of the chat, monitoring that, posting links for you guys. If you have any questions, just go in the chat right there. I encourage everyone to turn on their cameras, especially in the breakout room, so that you can get to know each other and network. But that's totally up to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, hope everyone can see that. All right, so the agenda for this workshop today, there's a lot to get through. There's a lot to social media. I'm not going to get through everything. So we're going to go through some introductions. I'll tell you about myself and how I became a professor and how I started with my social media marketing business. We're going to do a little bit of networking amongst you guys and have some breakout rooms. Just a quick overview of 3 of the main platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I won't be going through them all. I'm going to share a really cool tool with you called Canva, which is used for graphic design. I'm going to share Hootsuite, which is a scheduling tool that's really popular that will save your life. Then we're going to have a quick little break, bathroom, coffee break. I'm going to go over a branding checklist with you. So things to think about as you get started with your company and your business. Even though this workshop is mostly for entrepreneurs, I'm going to go over some basic salary with you and how you can find salaries online these days. I'm going to go over a little bit of pricing and contracts, because yes, you will be in charge of contracts. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to find clients. And if we have more time at the end, we'll do another breakout room with networking session. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. And on breaks, I'll be checking the chat as well. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself for those of you that may not know me. If you took this workshop last week, I'm sorry, you've already kind of heard this part. But we do have a lot of new people in this workshop who haven't heard my whole spiel here. So I'm Professor Janovic. I originally started at MiraCosta College, so I'm an alumni. From MiraCosta, I used the iGetsy program and I transferred to UC San Diego. I graduated from UC San Diego with a bachelor's in visual media arts. I'm not sure if they have that exact degree now, but when I went to school, it was called Visual Media Arts. My internship was with Tony Hawk 900 Films, which was his video production company. Now, I was very lucky, and this was a paid internship. I was there for a whole year. They wanted me to stay at the end of that internship, but I had some other opportunities that I choose to take instead. When I was a production assistant there, it was during the time that he worked on his last video game with Sony. For those that were into the video games, the skateboarding video games. So that was really cool to be a part of the Sony production. I assisted the video editor, went through all the raw footage and helped him edit. Super fun experience, loved it, learned so much about video and production and being on set. I studied abroad in Florence, in Italy for a summer semester. I highly recommend students to study abroad outside of the United States, even if it's for a summer session. Just get out there, see the world, see how things are completely different. I know right now it's probably kind of hard to travel with that. MiraCosta does have some study abroad programs if you're interested in going through MiraCosta College. After I graduated, I got production positions in graphic design, computer programming, and project management. From there, I kind of grew into more marketing positions when web to print came out, direct mail marketing came out, all that nice fancy junk mail you get. When email marketing came out, I worked on those campaigns, and I actually did the computer programming for email marketing. And then as soon as social media came out, I jumped on that. During that time, my boss, the president of the company, they were really standoffish when it came to social media, which, you know, it's understandable. It's a new technology, a new type of marketing, but I was able to convince my boss, like, hey, I'll work 6 hours a day on my normal marketing tasks if you allow me to work 2 hours a day on this social media marketing. Let's see what it does. So they agreed to that. I pretty much taught myself social media back in the day, and I just kept teaching myself, learning and learning. There weren't any classes back then. You kind of just had to learn as you go. From my marketing positions, that developed more into supervisor roles and leadership roles. And my last 2 corporate positions was the role of the marketing director. My last corporate position, I actually, my direct report was the CEO of the company, and he involved me in a lot of meetings and projects that had nothing to do with marketing, such as finance and requisitions, operations, product management. And he was kind of my mentor in a way. And he's the one who actually inspired me to go back to school to get my master's, because I knew all the creative side of marketing, but I didn't really know the numbers side of marketing. I didn't know anything about accounting. I really didn't know that much about analytics. I couldn't understand the number side. Like, I was more the graph design side. So I went to Cal State San Marcos and I chose their master's program. It was absolutely insane. There was a lot of crying, a lot of wine drinking, but luckily it was a year and a half program, 18 months. I was finished before you knew it. And I learned so much from Cal State San Marcos getting my master's. I highly recommend you guys to get your master's. If that's something that you're kind of thinking about leaning towards. Cal State San Marcos has a great program. One, because they are not as expensive as other schools. 2, it's made for people who are working full time. The classes are on Saturdays and Wednesday nights. And a lot of the people are older, they have kids and families, and they just work through it, you know? So my original goal when I went to get my master's was to grow on the corporate ladder and to one day be a president. Instead, it opened my eyes to a numerous amount of opportunities, including entrepreneurship. I never thought I would be an entrepreneur, but I learned so much, and I started interviewing on all these senior director roles. And I thought, you know what, even if I get this job, I'm not going to be happy. And you know, the point of life is to find a job or career that makes you happy. It has to do with your passions, right? You want to wake up Monday morning and you want to be excited to go to work. You don't want to have to dread Monday morning or start dreading Sunday night, like, ugh, I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm excited on Monday mornings. I'm excited on Sunday nights. Like, who do I get to talk to this week? Who do I get to help and support? What small businesses are doing what events, or what new services or products are they launching? So I went to the entrepreneur route and I decided to start my own social media marketing business. The name of my company is called Janovic Communications, and I'm a marketing consultant, content creation, social media management, and just recently in the past year, I've started doing ambassador and influencer programs. I am able to pick and choose the clients that I work with. I love working with small businesses and nonprofits. I don't even have to leave San Marcos, which is where I live. So some of my clients are Oceanside Public Safety, which is the Oceanside Firefighters Association. I've learned so much about firefighting. It's amazing. So it's fun for me too, you know. MROC, Mud Run and Obstacle Course Facility, which is an obstacle gym in Oceanside. Endurance Race Series. I'm a huge runner, so I work a lot with race directors and help them promote their races. And Ingenji Socks is a company that I work with a lot. They're also a running company. So again, my passions of running, I'm the founder of UltraBuds, which is a social running group that I've had for 6.5 years here in Escondido. We meet once a week on Saturdays. I totally just do it for fun. It's my way of giving back to the community. I don't make any money off that. And then 2 years ago, a business partner of mine launched a second company for me called Ghost Runners Coaching, where I actually coach runners to compete in half marathon, marathon, and ultra marathons. Shortly after I started my social media company, I had great contacts with my dean, professors, because, you know, when you're at a certain age, you kind of get to know your professors better. Especially in grad school, you know, you just have that connection more. And they had a social media opening for an instructor. And so we were chit-chatting one day, and next thing you know, I'm teaching social media marketing at Cal State San Marcos. Had never taught before, never thought I would be a teacher, but I had so much fun teaching a subject that I was passionate about. The students were amazing. And then I started teaching at MiraCosta College. So at MiraCosta, I teach different business classes, and I also teach social media marketing. So a little personal stuff about me, how I was saying, you know, work for something that you're passionate about. I'm an ultra runner. For those of you who may not know what that is running a distance that is over 26.2 miles. Yes, you heard that correctly. So I have ran 100K, which is 62 miles. And I've run several 50Ks and a few 50-mile races and one sky race. A sky race is when you run up in the mountains and you start at 8,000 feet and you just keep running up. So you're pretty much running up a ski slope, which we actually were running up a ski slope on that race. I also do obstacle course racing. So for those that may have heard of Spartan races, I've done the Spartan Stadium, Spartan Sprint, Spartan Beast. In the mountains, I went to Montana to compete in that. And I'm actually signed up for my first Ultra Beast Spartan, which is a 50K run plus 66 obstacles. I'm a big hiker and backpacker. I've climbed Mount Whitney, done the 6-pack of peaks, the 52 challenge, the list goes on and on. And my husband and I are big pit bull rescuers. These are our puppies here, Dally and Romanoff. So my life is full. I'm a very busy person, but I love every moment of it. So I launched Janovic Communications in January 2018. Because of my background in marketing and because of all the tools I learned from getting my master's degree, I was able to turn this around super quickly within 3 months. By March 1st, I had my business plan, my mission statement. I had met with my CPA, which was very interesting because before he completely spoke a different language to me. But after taking accounting classes, I actually knew what he was talking about. So that was pretty amazing. And my CPA was excited too. He's like, this is so nice to have a client who understands what I'm trying to tell him. So it really helped a lot that we were on the same page. I met with him on day one. I was able to create my own website, logo, branding, colors, everything that has to do with the company, social media pages. I did it all on my own within 3 months. On March 8th, I actually launched Janovic Communications. It was on International Women's Day. I launched it with a video. I had a huge launch campaign on social media, and I started with 4 clients. And yes, out of those 4 clients were 2 family members, but hey, family members need social media too, right? They have businesses they're running. One was a friend, and the 4th client was actually a response to an ad that I answered to. And what's funny is when I went and interviewed to the response to an ad, it was for a karate studio, and they needed social media for their 2 karate locations. And the guy straight told me, he said, you know what, it's between you and one other person that I'd like to choose to work with. And I'm going to choose you because you have a master's degree. And I said, wow, just right there, my master's paid off for me, right? Education, the power of education. By July 2018, I had 11 clients and I was at full capacity working 40 hours a week. And by December 2008, I already had a gross income, which was the same level of a corporate senior position. Now, this didn't just come to me. This work and clients did not just come to me. I was not just sitting on my butt waiting for this to happen. I was out there every single day with a fire up, you know, on my butt, working it, networking, emailing, cold calling, showing up to places, talking to people. And I'll give you a bunch of tips on that when I get to this section on how to get your first client and how to find clients. But just so you guys know, with a lot of hard work, you can get it done. I mean, look how much I accomplished in my first year of owning my business, right? So how did I get to do that? Like I said, I was out there. I was networking. The power of networking, the power of referrals. It's all about who you know. I mean, yes, it has to do with your experience and domain expertise as well, but it's a lot about who you know. And that's kind of how I got the positions of being a professor at Cal State San Marcos and MiraCosta College. I knew the 2 deans at Cal State San Marcos, and I knew a lot of the professors already. At MiraCosta College, I happened to already know 2 people who were my gym buddies. And when I talked to them about MiraCosta, they're like, what, you're interested to teach here? Oh my gosh, come on in, let's interview you. You know, and I went through the whole spiel. They're like, you're amazing, let's do it. It's true for my friends that I work out with, right? and it all worked out great. So I was part of, after I graduated from grad school at Cal State San Marcos, I joined the alumni board. I highly recommend people to join the Alumni Association. For those of you that are current MiraCosta students right now, when you graduate, join the Alumni Association. And I joined the board. I started as the public relations chair, kind of got my feet wet. And then after a year, I became the vice president. So I'm currently the vice president. Unfortunately, we haven't really had much going on in the past year because we're event based and, you know, we weren't allowed to do events. So we're going to be ramping up again, hopefully this summer. I joined the local Chamber of Commerce, which was for me was San Marcos Chamber, and I was a member there for a very long time. The Oceanside Chamber of Commerce is amazing. They have a great staff there. They have great members there. So if you're interested in starting a small business or you already have a small business, join the chamber. I know they're not doing a lot of events right now, but join it because they do have resources for you. And they are amazing people who work there. Any city you live in, if you're in Encinitas, Carlsbad, Escondido, join your local chamber. When I was at the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce, I was also joined the board of the Taste of San Marcos. For those that are local, the Taste of San Marcos is a huge event that they do every year in the North City area next to Cal State San Marcos, and it's like a beer and food event, super fun. So I was the co-chair of that because if you know me, I'm a big craft beer snob and I just had a ton of fun. I helped them do all their social media for the event and I loved being there. And when I was there, I did a lot of the photography for them. Business Builders Network is a smaller networking group. This is the one I decided to join and I'm still a member today. They also have different networking groups. You can just Google them. There's a real popular one called BNI that's around. There's some smaller networking groups that are free. There's some that cost a lot of money. So it just really depends on what you want to do. Business Builders Network does cost money, but for me, it's worth it. I've gotten a lot of networking and referrals from them. Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, I was also a member there. So I was a member of 2 chambers. North County Philanthropy Council, I was a member there for a while. They're kind of like a chamber of commerce for nonprofits only. So people that are interested in working with nonprofits, this is the group that you want to join. And all their events are in North County. They're a smaller group, very inexpensive, super affordable. Because I know that's another thing too. When you're a small business and you're starting off, you know, you have a very small budget to work with and all these things can add up. So just do your research, see which ones are free, less expensive, maybe only join 1 or 2 groups and not like a whole list like I did. It really depends on what your business goals are. And then Cal State San Marcos, I was part of the College of Business, Lecture and Marketing, and that's networking right there. Networking with fellow professors, networking with students. You just never know who you're going to meet. My running group that I'm the founder of, UltraBuds Running, that's actually networking for me too. When I go running with people and get to know them, I say, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you do for work? Oh, really interesting. Who does your social media? Who does your marketing? And I'm just kind of like a people person. And that's what you got to be when you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur. Even though you may not like sales, you are selling yourself. So whether you like it or not, you need to be able to sell yourself. So start building that confidence now because people are going to see that. And then with my Ghost Runners coaching, that's another way of networking too with my clients. I've had clients hire me for social media. It's crazy. I'm not even trying, but they get to know me. They get to know what I do. They said, wow, we need social media. Like, help us out here. So the power of networking. All right, so I'm going to put you guys in your first breakout room and guess what you're going to do? You're going to network. I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes, put you in your networking group. You're going to get to know your group members. Please, I encourage you to turn on your cameras. Do not be shy. It's May 4th. It's a casual day. May the 4th be with you, right? If you're wearing your Star Wars shirt, if you don't know anything about Star Wars, it's okay. You and I can still be friends. And ask people, just go around in your group, name and your current occupation. If you're currently unemployed and you're a student, that's totally okay. Why did you want to take this workshop? What interested you? What are your goals while attending MiraCosta if you are a student? Is it to transfer, to get a certificate? Maybe it's to learn a new skill and you're like, hey man, I just really want to learn Excel, or I just really want to learn accounting for myself, you know? Or maybe you have a career path that you're already kind of thinking about. What is your favorite hobby or passion? So for me, it's ultra running and my dogs, the pit bulls. And a fun question, if you were a potato, how would you like to be cooked? All right, so let me stop sharing my screen here, and I'm gonna put you guys in some breakout rooms. Do we have any questions before I split you guys up here? Any questions in the chat? Nothing yet. Okay, cool. Okay, go ahead and go to your rooms. It's a lot less people this time.
It's also a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Or, you know, it's May 4th. People got things going on. They're watching
Taco Tuesday, May 4th.
Or they're watching Star Wars marathon.
Right. You just never know. Are you going to want links for Canva and Hootsuite?
Yes.
Okay, I pulled up the web page.
Perfect, thanks. Oh, someone's in the waiting room. I think she might have gotten kicked out. Hold on. Hi! Did you get kicked out?
No. New.
I managed to kick myself out.
Okay, I'll put you back in. Hold on. There you go.
Thank you.
Copying those links, so I didn't see that. All right.
Oh, the neighbor's doing something with the lawn.
Um, Mark's joining.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good to see you. So we're kind of doing breakout rooms just like how we did that last workshop. Emily's actually in here, so I'm not going to put you with her because you know her. So I'm going to add you to a breakout room, okay?
Cool.
Cool. Nate.
Hi.
Oh, I love it.
Am I the one attendee?
No, they're networking in breakout rooms.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to crash the party late.
No, it's fine. Not a problem. How
We
you
wouldn't
been?
have it any other way.
I've had so many students, just like the high touch factor this semester has been crazy.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Day.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. McDonald's is giving away free McFlurries today.
I was just gonna say you didn't tell him that. But I'm glad you
Yeah.
did.
You just have to order it from the mobile app, but they're free for teachers today. A lot of calories though.
I was gonna say,
You have to run first and eat.
like, what else you got? That's a lot of miles.
I've actually lost 55 pounds since last June, so it's a hard pass for
Wow.
me.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Heck yeah. That's
Yeah,
like a couple sizes, right?
it is. It is.
Darn, you have to get all
had
new
to buy all new
clothes.
clothes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been expensive, but worth it for sure.
I've been heading in the other direction.
You have
no.
not.
Maybe, I think you sent me some of those 55 pounds.
I don't think so.
No,
Nice try.
I ballooned up like last semester. I was like, ooh, which never
Yeah.
happens to me. I've always been the same weight as high school. And then this semester I finally cracked the barrier, and yeah, I just kept going. So I've got most of it off, but I'm still, I think, 10 pounds off. Woo. Yeah,
It's tough.
It's
all good.
tough.
maybe
Yeah.
that's why my knees hurt when I run. I think I have the answer. Oh, hey, while
Yeah,
I've got
definitely
you,
feel better.
Bella,
Yeah.
we're working on a supply chain management certificate. Annie's putting it together, and we're putting together a sequence of courses. And there was a discussion around a required course. Should it be 290 BizCom or 132 marketing? And I kind of jumped the shark by emailing Annie. I didn't get a chance to check with you. I'm like, well, I think Isabella and I are teaching less on the distribution side and more on we've had to cut that piece to make more room for digital
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't
So
really
I
have
didn't want to
supply
speak on your
chain.
behalf, but I know we kind of had talked about it a little bit before, and we were lining up the course stuff. So hopefully I didn't speak out of turn. I really don't.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. I don't teach much on distribution anymore. So
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give them, they'll be back. They're coming
Somebody
back now.
coming in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to hide.
I love that thing.
I do too. I need one of those.
It looks just like him too.
It totally does.
It takes some work to do that. Like you can choose your eyebrows and the whole deal. Yeah.
Oh, that's just your regular avatar?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Mine doesn't look like me at all.
I knew Kathleen would be here.
Hey, Professor.
Hi.
Oh, and my friend Sam is here. Hi, Sam. Sam's all the way in Pakistan.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah, how are
welcome
you guys?
back, everyone. Hope you guys got to get to know a few people there. Nice to see your guys' cameras on now. I know everyone's always shy at first, and then the cameras start slowly turning on. All right, so next I'm going to go over a short introduction of social media, just the three main platforms. There's a lot to get through in this workshop, so I'm not going to be diving too deep into the social media platforms because there's just so much about every single one. And then there's always these new ones coming out at me, like we got Clubhouse as the latest one. TikTok came out, you know, so there's always new stuff I got to learn. Okay, so the benefits of social media marketing. Just a short list here: increased exposure, brand awareness, increased traffic, brand loyalty, marketplace insight, lead generation, increased thought leadership, improved sales, time savings, reduced marketing costs, and stronger customer experiences. And then there's owned, earned, and paid media. Obviously, you guys are here, you know the importance of social media, so I don't really need to get too much into the importance and benefits of social media marketing. For those that are interested in a possible career in social media marketing, there are so many different job titles out there now. These are just a list that I kind of came up with. There's coordinator, influencers, specialists, managers, directors, content managers, where they're just basically doing the social media content, editors, video producers. You'll have social media people that they only work on video, writers, digital media managers, paid social media strategists. So these are the kind of people that are concentrating on the Facebook ads and Facebook ad funnels. Bloggers, some people just write blogs, and community managers. And I'm sure there's more to add to this list, but this is kind of like what I came up with for this workshop. Some of the main skills needed to have a career in social media is community management, creativeness, organized and effective. There's a lot of moving parts. Being adaptive, good writing skills because you're writing a lot of copy. The last thing you want to do is have a punctuation or typo error in your social media post. Sales and customer service because you're going to be answering questions left and right. Strategic focus, decisive, analytics, and SEO. So real quickly again, Facebook, it's more of longer, more informative posts. You can link to other businesses or individuals by tagging. Sometimes this feature doesn't work from your phone. So if you're trying to do it from your phone, you're like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? You might have to switch to a desktop. Sharing articles is great on Facebook. Sharing other posts, multiple photos, uploading multiple photos, or even using the photo albums feature. You only want to use about 1 to 4 hashtags or specific ones for that campaign, such as using the hashtag Oceanside might be too general, but using the hashtag Oceanside Heart Walk, which is a little bit more specific, that's kind of what you want to do with the Facebook hashtags. Creating events, Facebook events. How many times do you see someone who says interested or going to an event and it pops up on your feed, and then you start to get FOMO, right? You're like, oh my gosh, that person's going to that winery event. I want to go too. Happens really quickly. Creating public and private groups. This is a great way to get involved with your prospects, do market research. I do a whole module teaching social media marketing on just Facebook groups and how they can help businesses. So here's an example of just a post here for those that may not be familiar with it. I have 3 companies involved that are tagged. So I have San Marcos Farmers Market, Rock the Rub, Decoy. I have my 3 main hashtags here. Just a real quick example of how to do a social media post. Good photo that you can see. It's not blurry. There's not a bunch of background junk, but it's authentic because it's not like a stock image. It's something that, you know, is taken from someone's iPhone or smartphone. With Facebook, you also have Facebook Messenger. Sometimes you can do direct contacts with people, sell people, do customer service. It's good to take some conversations offline and use Messenger instead of having them on the public forum or feed. With Facebook, you do want to post 3 to 5 times a week, unless you have really good content and enough content where you can post every day. But most people post only about 3 to 5 times a week on Facebook. Now with Instagram, you can have short posts or long posts. You can't put links in the post. They're not clickable, but you can put links in your bio. It only allows you to put 1 link in your bio, but there is a secret where you can use a a third-party application such as Linktree, where when you click on that one link in the bio, it pops up like a landing page, and then you can have several links. Again, we talk more about this in the social media classes, all these little tips and tricks. You can use up to 30 hashtags, whether they're specific or general. You can tag companies, individuals. You really only want one good quality photo. It's okay to use collages or multiple photos sometimes, but not often. What you don't want to post on Instagram is a graphic that has a ton of text. It's okay to have a graphic with a little bit of text, but you don't want to post like an actual like flyer on Instagram. It's made for images and photos. So here's an example of an Instagram post. Injinji Use Me. I'm actually, this is kind of funny, but I really am a toe sock model, so I model for socks. So this is their post. It's one great picture. They have their content here. They have their main hashtags. Since this is a bigger company, they don't use all 30 hashtags, which is totally fine. And it's okay to put the hashtags in either the main post or the comments. Either one, it doesn't matter. There's been no research saying that one is better than the other. Okay, also with Instagram, you can use Instagram stories while you're at events. With the video feature, I always tell people to take the video first on your phone, save the video, and then upload it to Instagram instead of using the Instagram video feature. That way, in case your reception isn't that great, you're not losing your video. Vertical photos always work best with stories, and horizontal photos always look best for post. Stories do disappear after 24 hours, similar to TikTok, but you can save the stories to your profile highlights section. You can do IG takeovers with ambassadors, influencers, athletes, etc. Post 4 times a week. Unless you have really good content, you can post more. So here's kind of an example. Nathan Hydration is another company that I work with here. All of my examples in anything I do is always running related, warning you guys now. So like I said, when you can save your Instagram stories, this is where you would save them in your highlights section. This is a really good company to follow, and they have a lot of great examples here. With Twitter, short posts only. They actually have a character cap at 150 characters. You can share their content. It's great for sharing articles. It's great for posting multiple photos. It's great for posting really quick, short little tweets. 3 to 6 hashtags, sometimes no hashtags because you only have a certain amount of characters. Great for engaging during events. I use it a lot when I go to conferences or workshops. When you're with like-minded people in your industry, you can find hashtags for the events and you can start getting social with other people. Here's another company I work with, Endurance Race Series. Here's an example of one of their tweets, really short and sweet, one photo. A few hashtags, done and done. Participating in Twitter chats. We talk a lot about Twitter chats in my social media class, and we actually do a class Twitter chat. It's super fun where you talk back and forth with each other. I like to describe it as having coffee with a group of 20 or 30 people, but you're not really at the coffee house, you're just at your house, but you're connecting and going back and forth so quickly in a Twitter chat with either sharing GIFs, photos, content, or just fun little tweets. It's a great way to learn from experts, from engaging in other people's Twitter chats that they put on. And it's okay to post multiple times a day in Twitter if you have the content for it. Some people post, you know, like 10 to 20 times a day, some businesses, if they have enough content for it and if they have enough bandwidth for it as well. So some of the best practices for social media, I always recommend to stay away from religion, politics, and controversial issues, especially right now. You're never going to make everyone happy, no matter what your opinion is. So just be careful of the controversial issues. Be careful during the holidays and using words like Christmas and Easter. I always recommend to say happy holidays or happy spring, you know, just to avoid all that, those possible issues that you can have. Share content not only promoting your brand, but also keep it relevant. Monitor engagement, respond to others and respond to them quickly, and always keep it professional. If there's a post or a comment that makes you mad, walk away, breathe, and then come back to it. Kind of like emails, right? When you get an email and you just want to write back to them. No, walk away, breathe, calm down, maybe talk about it with a friend, vent, and then come back to it. Ask questions. People love answering questions, and it's a great way to do market research on your prospects. People love to give their opinion on things. Even if it's something simple like, hey guys, we're coming out with this brand new shirt that we're launching in 2 weeks. What color do you like? Set up a poll. Do you like purple, red, black, pink, whatever? I love using polls in Facebook and in groups. Branding and consistency. You always, as a business, want to use your same fonts, colors, high quality logos on all channels. If you don't know anything about branding, I recommend taking a branding class or a branding workshop. Last week, I did a workshop on branding for small businesses, keeping it consistent. Use templates for your graphics. I'm going to show you a really cool tool here that's free that you can use to create your graphics. Always create event Facebook covers to have high quality images. So when you're creating those events on Facebook, make sure you're making something that's going to recognize and people are going to see, oh, it's branded. I know that company. I know that service. Make sure your descriptions and bios and hashtags are consistent on all platforms, and make sure they are also the same on your website. So whatever colors and fonts and images you're using on your website, use the same thing on all your social media platforms. Be consistent in posting. Even if you're not posting often, be consistent. Don't just post 3 or 4 times a week for a few weeks and then drop off and die. You know, you want to stay consistent. You have an audience and you want to keep them engaged. Be aware of the time of day that you post. Depending on your demographic and who your prospects are, they're going to be more engaged at certain times of the day and certain days of the week. And I don't have the answer for you on what this is. You're going to have to test it out yourself on your industry and your company. Here's just a screenshot of an Instagram page kind of showing the branding, how it's all high quality photos. They use the same template for the graphics that they do once a week. And there's a bunch of different examples I can show you guys of these as well. You recognize this person? That's me climbing a wall. Okay, so a great tool for graphic design is Canva. Some of you have heard of it, some of you have not. In the old days, or if you're a graphic designer, then you're familiar with the Adobe Suite, where there's Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Photoshop is used to edit your photos. Illustrator is used for your logos and vector files, and InDesign is more of the layout program where you place your photos and your logos and your vector files and fonts. Now, not only do you have to learn all these, they're pretty extensive, but you also have to pay a pretty big price for the Adobe Suite. Now there's an app, well, it's kind of been around for a while, called Canva, which is a free app, or you can use the paid version, and it creates easy graphics for your projects. And I'll give you guys some examples. So here's kind of the platform here, and feel free to go on canva.com right now, canva.com, if you want to mess around on there while I'm speaking. And you can create anything, not just social media graphics, but presentations, videos, print products, business cards, marketing materials, office materials, I mean, posters. They even help you with logos. It's so easy, guys. When you start using this, you're going to be like, where has this been all my life? When you start and open a project, you have all these free templates, and with the free version, you only get a certain amount of free stock photos, but it does allow you to purchase photos for $1 a piece, which is super inexpensive. I actually have the paid version, which is $12.95 a month. Super inexpensive. If you think about it, your small business, $12.95 is nothing. And you get a whole ton of stock images to use. And then they have another level above the $12.95 where you get even more stock images. But I'm not a big enough company to have to worry about that. There's also different websites out there where you can get stock images for free, splash.com, and I don't know, there's a whole bunch. You'd have to Google them. So say you want to make a poster and you're not that creative a graphic designer. There's all these poster templates that you can just click on. You can change out the photo, maybe you change out the color, slap in your logo, and you have a poster. It allows you to upload your own logos and images, or you can use what they already have. Super easy to use. Here's a coupon, just shows you how easy it is to make a coupon. Here's a Facebook event. It's already sized. You just click in Canva, you click on Facebook event cover, it automatically sizes it for you, and you can use a template or you can add in your own stuff. This was created in just a template, and then you just dropped in these images. Logos, super simple logos that people just put on top of photos. You know, these are small business owners. Here's social media graphics where you use the same template and you just, you know, change the wording, or you might just change the image. Super easy business card that we created in here in Canva. Here's a project that a student made. See how everything is just branded perfectly. She made this in Canva. Super easy, guys. The list goes on and on. So remember that, canva.com. You will have access to these slides after this workshop. So if I'm going, feel like I'm going kind of quickly here, you'll have access to everything. All right, Hootsuite is the next application I'd like to share with you. Again, there's a free version and different levels of paid version depending on how big of a company you are. And what this application does is it helps to schedule your posts in advance. So say you have a whole bunch of posts you want to do and you know you don't have time to sit there every morning and think of a post to write. So you put some time aside, maybe it's, you know, Monday or Sunday, and you write all your posts for the week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe it's all your posts for the month if you're that organized and you have that much content. And you can schedule all these posts in advance and then just forget about it. And well, not necessarily forget about, but all you have to concentrate later is just the engagement and responding to people. So there are different schedule tools out there. These are kind of the top brands. I always recommend Hootsuite just because I've used it for so long. It's super easy friendly. There's a free version and there's paid versions. So I kind of like doing that, especially with small businesses that I work with for my clients. They don't have a big budget to begin with. So we usually start them on a free version. And then the least expensive monthly plan is, I believe I think I have it in another slide here, but it's like $29 a month. So it's not too bad. Sprinklr, Spout Social, Buffer, Later, Trello, these are all the other pretty big name brands. So if you're interested in getting a scheduling tool, go ahead and do your research on all these. You can get free trials, see which one you like the best. They're all kind of the same, but all kind of different, if you know what I mean. So Hootsuite, what exactly does it do? So kind of in a nutshell here, you can create and schedule posts, you can craft new posts and schedule to multiple social networks at the same time. You can manage all your channels in one application instead of, you know, opening and closing each platform one at a time. You can look at them all at once. You can get an overview and monitor your posts and messages. You can plan upcoming campaigns. So view upcoming scheduled content. You can map out your campaigns. There's different calendars and ways to view all the messaging where you can kind of move things around, fill content gaps, and collaborate in real time. So here's kind of a screenshot here of what it looks like. So I have all these different platforms here. This is a client who has, you know, a Facebook, Instagram. You can see what's already posted. You can see what's scheduled. This is just one view. Whoops. Here's another view of the planner. So there's all these different views where you can drag these to different spots. You're like, ooh, I don't want that on Monday after all. I want it on Wednesday. So you can drag things around. Super easy, user-friendly. They actually provide a lot of training, free training, and you can actually get a Hootsuite certificate. In fact, the Hootsuite certificate is so helpful and it only takes about 2 hours of time to get that I have all my students do it in my class. And it's a free certificate for students to get. They have a Hootsuite education kind of partnership that I have with them. So also with Hootsuite, you can stay on top of incoming messages. If you're a business that's getting a lot of incoming messages and you're getting flustered with keeping track, you can again have everything in one spot. You can analyze your results. So with the paid versions of Hootsuite, you can actually get analytics and reporting in one spot. Now, a lot of the social media platforms do their own analytics and reporting, but you have to go to each and every one. And I believe you're only able to see the last 30 days. Whereas Hootsuite, you can see them forever, I think for the last like year, 2 or 3 years, and it's all in one spot. So it makes it really easy for you guys. Okay, so here's kind of basic pricing. Again, it totally depends on what your budget is, what your goals are. The free plan, you're allowed 1 user and 5 scheduled posts at a time. So it's kind of nice to kind of start off with that. This is the plan that I have. Current plan, 1 user, 10 scheduled posts, $29 a month. There's a team, $129 a month. Now you get 20 social media accounts. That's a lot. 3 users. Usually small businesses don't need this. Small businesses are good with $29 a month. You can always start low and then move your way up. I mean, this business account, sorry guys, my dogs. This business account here is for like a huge company, all right? Small businesses don't need this, but just so you can kind of see the differences in how much they cost and what you get for it. All right, we are almost at an hour here, so I'm going to give you guys just a quick 5-minute break, and hopefully my dogs stop barking during this break. So feel free to, take a bathroom break or, get yourself some coffee, and we will come back here at 4 o'clock. course, there's someone out front talking, so hopefully they're done. You won't hear the dogs.
I like it when the dogs bark. It feels more homey. More real.
Only
You're a
one
real-
barks
yeah, you're-
too.
You're a real person. Imagine that.
The other one, he's 4, so he knows when to really bark, but the 2-year-old, she just barks at everything. Oh, crap. All right, moving on. So in case anyone's interested in further exploring new career growth and education opportunities, these are kind of the classes that I recommend for people to take who are small business owners, entrepreneurs. In the business administration department, we have Intro to Business, Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management, and Marketing. And then in the CSIT department, which stands for Computer Studies and Information Technology, there's Social Media for Business. Now there's a whole bunch of courses you can take, but these are kind of like the top ones that I recommend. All right, so now we're going to move on to your branding checklist. Whether you're starting a social media marketing company or any sort of small business company, you're going to want to follow a branding checklist. So here's kind of some tips for you guys. You want to brainstorm your brand, first of all. Who's your target demographic? What problem or solution are you trying to solve? So with me, with my social media marketing company, the reason I came out with it is because I noticed a lot of these small businesses just here in San Marcos, they didn't have the budget to hire a full-time social media person, yet they knew that they had a need for it and that they had to do social media. So I'm kind of like a freelance social media person, and I work with budgets anywhere from $500 to $3,000 a month, depending on the company and what their budget is and what their needs are. But all these small incomes add up at the end of the month. You may think, oh my gosh, $500 a month, what's that going to do? Yeah, but when you have a list of clients, they all add up, right? So that was the problem that I found, and I found a niche and a hole, and I was able to fill that hole with a solution. Your messaging, what is your messaging? Well, hey, I know you don't have the budget for a full-time resource. Do you have the budget for a part-time resource, or to contract someone else, a freelancer, where you can be put on a monthly retainer? Well, yes, I could totally work with that. What is your USP, your unique, what's unique about your business? What's differentiator? What's your storytelling? What, why did you start this company? All these little things you got to think about. And you learn a lot of this stuff in the marketing principles of marketing course. So I'm just kind of going over the basic checklist here with you guys. Naming your business. Personal or professional brand. So I chose to use my name in my company, Janovic Communications. You don't have to use that. If you have another business name that you'd rather use, that's totally fine. If you're struggling with coming up with a name, do some keyword research. Get on Google, see what other people are doing. Maybe there's competitors in your area that kind of give you a little inspiration on that name. Write down potential names and brand ideas. Maybe you run them by family members and friends. Research if that name's even available or not. Create an email address to use for all your profiles, a professional email. I suggest purchasing an email, through Gmail. Mine is isabella@janocom.com, so I use Janocom for short. Instead of just having it at gmail.com. So I actually pay the money to have a professional email. I think it's $19 a month, and you can have up to like 3 people on your email address. Securing a domain name and a social media profile name. So getting that website name. You may not be able to have a full-blown website right away, but if you go through a company like GoDaddy or Wix, you can kind of use just one of their templates to get things started. Branding components, you want to choose your colors, your fonts, your logos, your graphics. If you don't have the budget to hire a graphic designer, look into Canva and see what logo templates you can kind of go off of there. Headshots, images. You don't have to hire a crazy professional photographer. You can just have a friend use some features on their iPhone and take pictures of you. What's your voice, your bio, your tagline? So my tagline is, and my hashtag is let's get social. So I came up with that one. So what's yours? What's your tagline to go with your business? Website. You do need to have a website. You don't have to have one super fancy. Again, you can use a GoDaddy template. That's what I use. They make them super easy now, or they do have website developers that do work on smaller budgets. You want to make sure you can get the hosting. You add all your social media icons to your website so that people can click on your social media accounts easily. You want to add, you know, just a few pages to start off, your about, your services, and your contact. Maybe you want to have an email subscription. You're going to be sending out monthly newsletters. So that would be a page that you add. Your social media profiles, be consistent with your names, photos, your URLs, your bios, and your graphics. You don't have to be on every single social media platform to begin with. Just choose a few. You do want to be on LinkedIn though. All right, let me tell you, LinkedIn is the most important one. You may not necessarily get a lot of clients on LinkedIn depending on what your company is, but you want to be on LinkedIn. You want to spread the word about what you do, and you want to connect with other professionals. So whatever you do, make sure you have a LinkedIn, and then maybe you just start off with like Facebook and Instagram to begin with, or maybe it's just Instagram. Again, it depends on your demographic. Create your content. So before you do your big launch, make sure you have a library of assets and content already ready to go so you're not scrambling later. Go out there and either collect images, take images. You might want to write a few blogs. You can add the blogs to your website, or maybe blogs isn't your thing and you want to do more newsletters. So come up with different topics for your email newsletters to begin with. Create YouTube videos. You can create a YouTube account for free, or maybe you just want a couple videos that you take on your iPhone and you post on social media that way. These can be animated whiteboard, talking head, slideshow. It just really depends on what you're into, how tech savvy you are, and how much time you have. Start connecting, network, either in person, on LinkedIn. You know, start emailing people, let people know what you're all about, finding people to follow on social media, engaging with others by commenting and sharing their content, write interesting content for your stuff, share content on your social media profiles, let people know what you're doing and what you're all about, ask questions. Again, you asking those questions and creating engagement with people. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of go over some salary, pricing, and contract tips and advice for you guys. Even though this workshop is for kind of entrepreneurs, small business people, I did kind of want to share with you a couple of resources in case you are looking for a salary position for a company in the social media marketing field. So LinkedIn has great resources for salary called LinkedIn Salary, where you can just kind of plug in what you're looking for here and they'll give you some basic information here. Also, Glassdoor is another great one where you can get kind of salaries based on the job title. Okay. These are a couple years old, but this is kind of the information they give you here. Packages and pricing. So if you are interested in starting your own social media marketing company, there's 4 main categories of services here. You have your strategy, which is evaluating the online presence of a brand. It gives feedback on what they're doing well and what they can improve on, or you can create a social media plan for the person. So this is considered strategy. One-time services, which is non-recurring services that you can provide to a client, such as creating graphics, profile setup, blog optimization. So it's one-time services. Then you have training and consulting. So this is actually a service that I provide, and I do it a lot. So maybe I have a client who's I had a veterinarian client and he had a staff and he's like, hey, my staff knows social media, but they don't necessarily know social media for business. Can you come in and do a few training sessions with us and teach them about social media marketing for business? So I said, sure. So I divided it up into 3 workshops. I went into their office. I sat with their 4 employees and I just did training and consultation, and they paid me by the hour to do training and consulting. So they have their staff, you know, we did one training. I taught them, you know, what was agreed upon, and then they tried it out and they worked on it. And then 2 months later, I came in and did another training with the staff. So that is another service that you guys can provide. If you're an expert at social media marketing, you don't necessarily have to do all the social media day-to-day management. You can do training and consulting as well. And then there's the done for you. That's the last service category. So kind of some examples here. on what's what. So when they say, will you tell me what to do? That's considered a strategy. Can you fix those things for me? That's considered a one-time service. Would you mind showing me? That's considered training and consultations. Will you do it for me? And that's considered done for you, where you actually do the day-to-day management, content creation, writing all the posts. So here's a little bit of information here on if you're kind of interested in knowing a little bit about pricing these days. So strategy, it's like getting paid to do an extended interview with a client. It does not promise that you'll continue working with them after the evaluation phase. So they might hire you just to do the strategy. They might like you so much after you create the strategy, then they continue to hire you to do the actual management content creation. It can go either way. And you know, the client can go either way. You could do a whole strategy plan for a client and then you realize, oh my gosh, I do not want to work with this person. And that's totally fine. That is what is amazing about owning your own business. You can pick and choose who you want to work with. Wildcard ideas make it fun, allow you to show off your creativity. You can create the perfect pitch. So now that you know exactly what the client needs, you can create a custom proposal after you do the strategy plan for them. You know, you do the strategy plan for them, you love their product and service, you love working for them. Then you can create a pitch and say, hey, if you need me to implement this strategy for you, I'm your person, here's a custom proposal. So depending on your expertise and what exactly they're asking for on the strategy, you can charge anywhere from $500 to $1,000 and even up on a one-time fee. If you're creating like a 3 to 6 month strategy plan, you can charge like $5,000. But if you're starting off slow and you know, you don't have that much experience yet, then you might want to go on the smaller side of charging kind of around $500. It really just depends on where you're at. I always tell social media marketers to get paid up front. I recommend 100% paid up front. At least get 50% paid up front. You can use an invoicing system. I use Intuit QuickBooks for small business, and it's an app. I have it on my phone. It takes care of my mileage. My CPA can log right into it when it comes to taxes time. It's got invoicing in there, so it keeps track of all your invoices. It's very professional looking. And it's just a great way to see when people pay you right away. You get an email, hey, that client paid. Okay, now I can begin services. They pay prior to the service. So all my clients are on a monthly retainer, and they pay at the beginning of the month before I start doing their services. And that's the way it is. This is your business, your company. If someone doesn't like you for it and they say, I don't want to pay you up front, you don't have to work with them, okay? You guys got to be strong out there. You're small business owners, you're entrepreneurs. This is the way it goes. You may work with an older client who's never worked with someone like this. And you know what? This is just how it is these days. A lot of freelance people work these days up front. You do not want to do work and have it be posting on social media and then you chasing after this payment money 2 months later. Trust me on this, guys. Get paid up front. Big tip for you, okay? One-time services could be social branding package. Maybe they just need all of their platforms set up. They need everything linked to Hootsuite. They don't have time to do it. They don't want to look into how to do it. And they just do a one-time service, right? I've had clients hire me and say, hey, I don't even want to look and know how to do this. Just set everything up for me. What's your flat fee charge for this? And I've done that before. Sometimes clients want to put together special contests, giveaways, and have a marketing campaign, and they don't want to deal with it. They would rather just pay someone else to do it. Hey, that's where you can jump in. Single advertising campaign. Now this can be a tricky one here. Me personally, I don't do social media advertising because that's like a whole nother element in itself. There is so much involved with Facebook advertising now that someone would want to hire a Facebook ad strategist just for those paid ads. I work more on the organic side of social media, and then there's also the paid side. So it's totally up to you whether you want to learn this skill or not. Facebook does have free tutorials called Facebook Blueprint if you want to look that up. The tutorials are free. If you want to get the Facebook Blueprint certificate, you do have to pay for the certificate. I want to say it's like 250, maybe $500. I'm not really sure how much it is, but you can at least self-teach yourself by the tutorials. Facebook wants you to spend money, so they make it really easy for you to learn how to spend money. Profile and website optimization is another one if you're really good at websites.
Are you
Training
able
and-
to, Isabella, are you able to answer a question about
Yeah,
LinkedIn
sure,
for
sure.
somebody?
Yeah.
Sam, did you want to go ahead and ask?
Okay, so hi.
Hi.
I have a question regarding LinkedIn. So can you tell me, a friend told me about LinkedIn, and he said, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a brand strategist, and I design brands. So I used to I am working on Fiverr and Upwork and different kinds of websites. So a friend told me that LinkedIn is a very good platform because all the serious and professional people are on LinkedIn. You can contact them directly, and most of them get back to you, and you can develop relationships and can contact directly to companies. So my question is, like you said, LinkedIn is not very strong in business side. So can you tell me if but you also said that it depends on businesses, like business to business, it is a different thing for LinkedIn. Like if maybe you are a payroll company, maybe LinkedIn is not good for you, but maybe you are a business strategist, so maybe LinkedIn is a good for you. So what do you say about it?
It really depends on your demographic. No matter what, if you're a small business owner, you should be on LinkedIn no matter what, networking with everyone you can. But it depends what business you're in actually selling your business. For example, if you're a brewer and you work in the beer industry, other beer industry people aren't really getting business or on LinkedIn. So it really just depends who your demographic is. If you're selling, for me, for social media and my services I provide, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. So it really just depends who your demographic is and the age and the industry.
Okay, so actually I don't want to take you off the topic. I just want, it is all about social media, so I am talking about social media. I'm not going to talk anything else. So LinkedIn, you said that it is as you give me the example of brewery. My English not very good, so I don't know what the word is. Like I know it is regarding alcohol. So what I want to ask is, like LinkedIn. Okay, sorry. Like LinkedIn, can I does people feel like they are getting spam if like we contact them directly on, like, for example, you are on LinkedIn and I sent you like, this is my portfolio, this is what I do, I would like to work with you. So if I send this like to 15 people daily, will this be considered as a spam to people like you?
That's a really good question. Okay, so with LinkedIn, when you connect with someone, and you hit the connect button on LinkedIn, it gives you the option to send a custom note. Always put in a custom note. So maybe the people who you meet here in your breakout room, you're like, hey, I'm Sam. I met you at the MiraCosta workshop. Let's stay connected on LinkedIn. And then you start building the relationship. So you don't just throw them with a sales pitch right away. You actually have to build that relationship. You start talking to them about other things like, hey, what do you do? Like maybe whatever they post on LinkedIn, you can like and comment at first. So definitely do not send them like a message sales pitch right away, because you're right, it will sound spammy. And I do get those messages too. So you want to be authentic and be a person. This is why you connect with not just necessarily random strangers right away. Connect with people that you currently work with, maybe students in your class, maybe people in the community. If you're a part of a chamber, connect with other chamber members so that you have that kind of connection, and you can send them a message like, hey, I'm Sam, I'm new to the San Marcos Chamber. Looks like you're a member too, let's connect. And then you can kind of build on that relationship. And then later you can either meet with them in person, ask them to do a Zoom call, or you can kind of explain what you do. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like. I have a lot of questions, but I don't want you to take off the topic. So
And I can
like,
take more
yeah.
at the end too. But that's a
Yeah,
great
no
question.
problem.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be too spammy or salesy.
Yes.
Okay,
thank you.
so the next service that you can provide here is the training and consulting. So team training, kind of how I explained with that veterinarian example here, support for your team and fully implementing recommendations from strategy. You can charge by the hour or for a package. So if you have a one-time person, you're like, hey, I just want to do a one-time training on how to get set up on all these social media accounts. Can you help me out? Or like with the veterinarian, I did a set of 3 trainings. So I kind of did a package with them and they had four employees join in each training. So it really depends on what their needs are and what you charge by the hour. I mean, I've seen people charge as little as $80 an hour, and I've seen people charge as much as like $300 an hour. So it just really depends on your domain expertise and the experience that you have with training and consultations. I always provide recordings. If it's on Zoom, if it's in person, I give them their slides. Done for you. So packages could include for this one, social media audit. This is a very time-consuming task. The bigger the company, the more time-consuming it is. There are templates out there. I've kind of created my own template when I do audits. Students in my class, I provide them with templates to do audits and they kind of learn how to do this. But you want to do an audit and people think it's super time consuming. So they might just hire you to do the audit for them. Say, hey, I don't even know what to audit, but just audit everything and let me know what do I need to fix? What do I need to improve on my social media platforms? Social media strategies on how to grow, engage, and invite. Monthly reporting is a huge one here, and actually analyzing the metrics. Consulting and coordination calls, this could be monthly or bi-monthly, and these things are included in packages. So when I have a customer do a monthly retainer, usually it includes a one-time fee of a social media audit and then a monthly retainer fee that includes these things. You always want to make sure that you and the client are on the same page of how many coordination calls you're doing a month. Because you will have some clients that you may only talk on the phone once a month and you're like, great, this client's perfect, right? You may have a client that harasses you 3 times a day. And then you're spending a lot of time on this client. So be careful with things like that. Make sure it's in your contract on how many coordination calls they get, emails, text messages, all that sort of thing. Packages should not include. So don't get taken, and I'm telling you these tips, guys, because I don't want you to get taken advantage of from small businesses here. Social ads, like I said before, they need to hire an ad strategist to do this. It's a lot of work to put together ads, management and budgets. It's just like any other marketing advertising funnel, but it's on Facebook. Content creation, beyond the basic social media posts. If you're doing extra graphic design work on the side and you're spending hours on doing that, that is not included in the package. That's above and beyond. Daily communication with the client. You need to have ground rules on how you're communicating with the client and how often. Managing, training, or coordinating with their team outside of your calls. There will be times where like you work with the owner and yet they have their assistants constantly calling you, asking you how to do things. That's not your job. If you're doing training and managing of a staff, then that is outside of your package. More than 3 platforms. Make sure it's in your contract how many platforms you're going to be posting on. You can kind of always have a rotating platform, but if you're doing more than a certain amount of platforms, that's outside of the package. Or maybe it's a higher paid level of packages. Sharing the client's content to your personal profiles. You are not obligated to share any of your clients' events or services or products on your personal profiles unless you choose to. Unless it's something really cool. You're like, hey, I have a winery client. I think it's really cool that they're doing this wine tasting. I don't mind sharing that on my personal profile, but do not feel obligated. I've had people say like, oh, you have to post everything on your personal profile too. No, you don't. Okay. I'm telling you guys, you got to stand firm with some of these small business owners. So here's a little bit of kind of basic pricing. that you can kind of use as a benchmark here as you develop your own packages and develop your own pricing. A basic package, if you're an entry-level strategist and you don't have that much experience yet and you're kind of just barely starting off, you're going to want to charge no more than $500 a month. And if you're really new, you might even go just a tad lower just so you can get those first new clients and develop like a portfolio, you know. Create 1 to 5 posts, distribute on 3 platforms weekly, daily engagement, monitoring brand mentions, metrics and measurement, 1 client a call monthly. But maybe they're allowed to email you as much as they want, you know? So it really depends. You want to break down your monthly fee by the hour. So how much do you think you're worth an hour? Are you worth $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $80 an hour? That's kind of how you want to look into that. And how much will this take? How much hours a week, a month will all these tasks take to do for 1 client? So you got to think about these things as you're developing your pricing. And it's not easy. And you can always change your pricing later. Maybe you have your first few clients at this price and you're like, oh my gosh, this is way too cheap. I need to like raise my prices. And then your next client after that, it's a different level. There is a big learning curve when you first start having your own business, whether you're a social media marketing business or another type of small business. So there's always a learning curve. Here's kind of another package idea. Entry to mid-level strategist, $1,000 a month, up to 2 platforms maintained. Maybe you create 1 to 3 pins on Pinterest and distribute those. Daily engagement, monitoring brand mentions, social ambassador, reputation management, metrics and measurement, 1 client call, overall strategy and results. So if you can kind of see, you know, as you go up, you add more services. Whoops. And you guys can kind of play with this. It's your business. You can decide what services you want to include based on your how much you charge. Contracts. These are the contracts I recommend that you guys have. You don't necessarily have to have an attorney involved, but if you do, that's great. There's actually, I'll share with you a class later where you do learn more about contracts and law. At MiraCosta, they actually have courses where they can teach you all these things, but these are kind of the agreements that I recommend. You have a freelance per project agreement, a freelance per month agreement. Maybe you're just on a monthly agreement. Maybe your minimum is a 3-month agreement, 6-month, 12-month. They get a huge discount if they sign a 12-month contract with you. That's great. Consultant services agreement, confidentiality agreement. Here's just kind of like a screenshot of a template of an agreement here. You can find these online. You can have an attorney write these up. You know, it just really depends. All right, so next little section here. Does anyone have any questions at this time? Kind of on the packaging, the pricing, contracts. I don't see. Daria, do we have anything in the chat I should be aware about?
Not that I've seen, no.
Okay, great. All right, so finding clients when you're first starting out here. Again, networking, join networking groups. Look, you can Google them, you can ask friends, family, you can ask your professors, you can ask people at the school. What are some networking options? Do research now on what you get out of these networking groups. The more expensive the networking group, the more you're going to get out of it. So it just depends if you want to join 1, 3. Referrals, the power of referrals with any small business. I get a ton of referrals, which is great. Social media announcements. So let people know on your platforms your new business. Tell everyone on LinkedIn, tell everyone on your Facebook, your Instagram, your personal accounts, your business accounts. Send email announcements to family, friends. Maybe you already have a database already kind of that you've been collecting. Let everyone know what you're doing. Text message people, call friends. Ask establishments that you're a customer at. These are great small businesses that you can grab as clients. So think your dentist, a veterinarian, your coffee shop that you visit every day, your local brewery that you love, an orthodontist that your kids go to, the flower shop, because we all get our significant other flowers all the time, right? Maybe your insurance agent where you get your hair done. a restaurant that you are at all the time. Nonprofits are great customers, especially to begin with, because all these nonprofits, they know they need social media, but they do not have the budget to hire a full-time person. Mechanic, your car person. So the list goes on and on. So think about the establishments that you're a customer at and that maybe you can do social media for. You can respond to ads on Indeed, LinkedIn, Craigslist. I've had good luck in the beginning responding to ads. Reach out to companies that you would love to do social media for. In the beginning, I really wanted to have a brewery and a winery client. So I reached out to the local breweries and wineries, kind of like cold call emailed, or some of them I just got on the phone. Some of them I went and just walked in and started talking to the owners because they're small business owners themselves, they're mom and pop. And I just, said straight out like, hey, your winery, I love your wine. I do social media marketing. I would love to do social media for a winery company. Like, who does your social media? Do you want to chat? Let's have a glass of wine and chat. So it can be as simple as that. Yes, you are going to get rejected, but at least people know what you're doing. You can't be afraid to go out there. You can't be afraid to network, and you need to have the confidence and be able to sell yourself. Okay, so that's kind of what I have going on here. Do I have any questions on anything? Anything in the chat? Okay, I'm going to put you guys in new breakout rooms, and we're going to practice our networking skills. And I also want you guys to connect with each other on LinkedIn. Hopefully everyone has a LinkedIn here. If they don't, put that on your to-do list to do right now. Okay, I'll give you guys about 8 minutes again, and hopefully you're in a new group, and then we'll come back. Okay, I'm giving him 1 minute.
Thanks for that, Isabella. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hope you guys met some new people. Connect on LinkedIn. All right, I'm going to share this one slide with you guys on career tips because this has happened to me a few times and it's becoming one of my pet peeves here. I shared this slide with the personal branding class workshop last week. So have a professional voicemail on your phone. Please check it after this workshop and make sure it sounds professional. I can't tell you how many times I've called people and I'm like, oh my gosh, who am I talking to now, right? So think about it. When was the last time your voicemail was updated? How do you answer your phone when you get a call from an unknown number? Now, sometimes you don't answer your phone, you let it go to voicemail. That's totally fine. Sometimes nowadays it'll tell you spam. But if you're going to be starting your own company here and you're going to be expecting phone calls, getting referrals, make sure you know how you're going to answer your phone and check your voicemail, please. Be considerate of when you call or text someone. A lot of people like to communicate through text messaging now, which is totally fine. I always have my clients email me, 1, so I have a record of it, 2, so I don't forget it, and 3, because I kind of would rather have everything in email instead of text, because then it can just get crazy, right? I do let customers text me if there's a social media emergency or if they need to send me like a photo and it's on their phone and it's just easier. But make sure you call and text your clients during standard business hours, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, and let your clients know this in your contract when they text you that they should only be texting you during standard business hours, okay? I have a funny story. So I go to bed really early and I race a lot. It was a Friday night. I'm already anxious. I have a big race the next morning. I was in Montana. I go to bed at 8 p.m. I'm already not sleeping well because I'm excited about the race. And I have a client who starts texting me at 12:30 in the morning. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I don't read his texts until like Sunday because, hey, 1, it's the weekend. 2, it's not an emergency. And 3, I had this race. And he's just messaging me the crazy ideas. So I emailed him very professionally on Monday. This is before I had it in my contract. I emailed him professionally Monday morning and I said, hey, just so you know, I appreciate it if you texted me during normal business hours, not at 12:30 in the morning on a Friday. And he said, I apologize for that. I just had these wonderful ideas for our next marketing campaign. I said, that's great. You can email me your marketing ideas. You don't have to text me. So after that incident, I put it in my contract under communication. I have a whole section that's communication, lets them know about phone calls, emails. They get unlimited emails. They can email me whenever they want and when they can actually text me. And it's just, basic, I would think common sense, but it's not these days. You do have to spell these things out. And these are little things that you guys are going to learn. My contracts change all the time because of things that I'm constantly learning from my clients. I laugh about it now, but at the time I was not very happy camper. So standard business hours. I mean, I get up at 5. I don't think my clients would appreciate it if I texted them at 5 a.m., right? It works both ways, guys. Okay, so that's my little pet peeve, phone etiquette. So what's next for you? I've kind of given you just an overview on everything, workshop. You're like, hey, that's a great start, but I have so many questions. I'm still feeling lost. What do I do now? So here are some of the certificate programs that MiraCosta offers people like you. Entrepreneurship Certificate of Achievement, which at the end of this certificate, you'll have a business plan, a marketing plan, financial statements for a proposed business. These things are extremely important. There's 3 required courses plus 9 elective units. So it's not that much. You can work on them now while you're working full time. Social Media for Business Certificate of Achievement. So if you're looking to start your own social media business, I highly recommend this certificate. You'll get a social media marketing plan for yourself, using multiple platforms to reach your audience. There's 4 required courses plus 6 elective units. There's the Business Quick Startup Certificate of Proficiency. This thing is awesome. I wish this was around, back in my day when I was at MiraCosta. You end up with a professional business plan with all the supporting startup documentation. It gets you up and running in 1 semester. 1 semester, guys. All the supporting documentation, including how to learn about contracts and legal stuff, all those little questions you don't think about. There's 5 required courses plus 6 elective units. And I think Daria is gonna post in the chat the links so you can read more information about this. Some of these classes are offered in summer. I don't know exactly how many. And if you're interested in taking a course with me in the future, this summer I will be teaching Business 290, which is business communication. In the fall, I will for sure be teaching social media for business, and I'll tentatively be teaching either Business 132, which is principles of marketing, or Business 290, business communication. I'm not sure exactly yet. You'll just have to keep track of paying attention to the course catalog. It's a little too soon to know. But those are the courses that I'll be teaching. Some other benefits of being a MiraCosta student is that they have a wonderful internships and career center where they have a ton of free resources for students. They assist you with helping you write your resume, your LinkedIn profile. So even though you're going to be a small business owner with your social media marketing company, some of these places are clients, they will ask you for a resume. Like, hey, can you shoot me a resume? Because they want to look at your experience. What have you done before, you know? So you always want to make sure you have an up-to-date resume, something that's professional, and your LinkedIn profile is completely optimized and professional. I make all my students do this in my classes, so you would do it from there, or you can reach out to the Career Center and they can help you do your LinkedIn profile as well. There's, for the internships department, there's either course credit internships or paid internships. I always recommend the paid internships, guys. There's plenty of businesses out there that are willing to pay their interns. And I can't tell you how many internships are for social media. Everyone realizes that they need social media marketing. So they come to the school with these internships. So other than that, that's kind of what I got for you guys here with this workshop. I just want to reiterate, stand your ground with people, okay? Do not let people take advantage of you, because they will. These small business owners, even corporate companies, they'll try to take advantage of you either on purpose to see what they can get, or on accident. Some of them don't realize what they're doing, you know, where they're asking you for a million questions. You're like, whoa, I need to be charging a